everybody, I'm Evan Hammonds for bloodhorse.com and welcome to After the Wire, which is brought to you by EquiAid, the makers of Bodybuilder and other fine natural products. If the Breeders' Cup is like Christmas Day for handicappers, then Super Saturday is like Christmas Eve, with 10 Grade 1 races split between coasts, and last year's Classic winner Fort Larned running at Churchill Downs that night. It was non-stop action from mid-afternoon to deep into the evening here in the 859. What did we learn from the day's festivities? Quite a bit, actually, but really just not a lot about the Classic. Now, the pro-tem leader of the division, of course, is Game On Dude, who stayed in his stall rather than out-hoof a bunch in the Awesome Again Stakes at Santa Anita. Mucho Macho Man did something he hasn't been able to do on the East Coast. That's win a Grade 1 race. He's got one now, but we still feel he's a cut below the dude. Over in New York in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, things were weird from the very beginning, with Belmont Park's mile-and-a-quarter races starting on the turn. It's really difficult to see the break, and we missed all the action in the critical first few steps as favorite Cross Traffic, who, according to Tom Durkin, walked out of the gate. He's not even visible, except for the new Trackus chiclets for the first half of the race. Up front, Alpha set honest enough splits while being tracked by an eager Palace Malice. Closer to the pace and still on the rail as he was in the Whitney and Woodward at Saratoga was our old friend Ron the Greek. Now, whereas he made mild moves and then disappeared in the stretch of both starts at the Spa, he took to Big Sandy and just put a hurtin' on Palace Malice and flat out in the stretch to draw off by 6 3/4 lengths in 1:59 3. I'm going to repeat that, 1:59 3. That's a stakes mark for the Gold Cup at 10 furlongs. Always a danger, Ron the Greek was having one of his better days Saturday, and only his most faithful followers hung in there as he went off at a ridiculous 21-1. Trainer Bill Mott summed it up succinctly the day after the race. There wouldn't have been many horses who would have beaten Ron the Greek yesterday. He might have fired his best shot right there. And I'm not going to be disappointed if he doesn't fire that one back. I wouldn't be disappointed either. Also at Belmont, Princess of Sylmar put on an exclamation mark on a remarkable 3-year-old filly campaign by blowing by champion older female Royal Delta in the Beldame. Now, in Royal Delta's defense, she did sit right off a faster early pace than what took place in the Gold Cup, and she did run a mile in 1:35 but she had little fight left in her when Princess of Sylmar came knocking. Now, breeder owner Ed Stanko was adamant before the Beldame that he wouldn't go for the Breeders' Cup, but hey, let's not get too hasty. Let's take some time and make a decision. He still has a couple of weeks to assess the situation. Now, there were just too many good races to go into detail, but personally, as a big fan of Justin Phillip, it was heartbreaking to see him lose another close one in the Vosburg. Both he and Private Zone dueled to the line, 6 furlongs and 108 flat. Let's hope there's some juice left in the lemon for the Breeders' Cup in both of them. And in the Flower Bowl, Laughing continues to show her dominance in an always competitive division. At Santa Anita, Beholder was again a sight to behold in the mile and 16th Zenyatta. The extra 16th of a mile for the Breeders' Cup Distaff is questionable, as she clearly looked like she was shortening stride, but we certainly like her chances. Juvenile fillies in the Chandelier went faster earlier than the Colts did in the Front Runner, and we were impressed with the closing efforts of Chandelier winner Secret Compass and third-place finisher Fascinating. Fascinating, who was the favorite, is a half-sister to Bodemeister. She was moving best late, but she did look a bit green at the head of the lane. Now, a quick shout-out to Stallion Macho Uno, who had 2 winners, Grade 1 winners on the day in Mucho Macho Man and Private Zone. Way to go, big fella. Come back next week for After the Wire, where we'll have even more Grade 1s from Belmont Park, Santa Anita, and Keeneland. I'd like to thank you for watching After the Wire.